Hi all, we're here with today's video and our 30 days of user experience questions. And today's question comes from Peter. And Peter wants to know, why do my views keep increasing on mobile compared to desktop? And I talked with Peter about this for a little bit, and what he really was asking, not just at a specific time, but in general, why are mobile views becoming more and more prevalent? And why is that the trend? And this is a great question for us to think about because it's become more of a common pattern now to do mobile first, and Lou Wroblewski sort of led that movement. Karen McGrain wrote the whole content for mobile. There's been a lot of push to do mobile first, but I still encounter clients to this day who haven't really thought about mobile or don't think that the people they are serving want to be on mobile. And I really think that that's just patently false. At this point, the majority of people, at least in the United States, have a smartphone. The majority of people in the United States do not have a desktop computer. And that means that 90% of their internet access and what they're doing on the internet is on their phone, because that's their main way of accessing the internet. So it's really important to be thinking about mobile, and that's exactly the answer to Peter's question. Why is mobile more prevalent? Because it's more easily available. Buying a desktop computer or even a laptop is a much more significant upfront investment, and it's a lot more hassle to make happen. You have to have an internet plan at your home. You have to make sure it's got a power source. You've got to make sure you have a space for it. If it's a laptop, you have to be able to carry it around different places. So there's more required when you've got some sort of desktop machine, whether it's a hard desktop with some sort of tower, or it's just a laptop that you can take with you. And it's much easier to get a mobile phone that does 90% of what most people are looking to do on the internet anyway. And so when you're thinking about your product, if you haven't considered mobile, or if you've dismissed mobile, or if you said, no, I don't think people will do that on mobile, there was a time when we thought people wouldn't do any shopping on mobile. There was a time when mobile phones were the size of my head, and they had to plug them into the car, or they need to be charged for days before the battery would work for like 2 hours. So remember that whatever you think isn't happening now, even if you're right for right now, it's not going to stay that way for long, right? It's going to keep evolving. And that means that people are going to do more things on mobile, because mobile is the easiest to access, to make happen. Even if, you're like, you don't have a lot of funds and you still need to be able to be reached, right? So if you're trying to apply for jobs or you're trying to do all these things, you still need a pay-as-you-go mobile phone. Most of those come with some sort of data plan, or at least Wi-Fi capabilities. So if you're on Wi-Fi, you can do all the internet browsing you want, and you can go to any cafe and get Wi-Fi. And all you need it for is that phone access, because people don't have landlines anymore. And so you're reachable, but you still are able to browse the internet as well. And that's how a lot of people do things. And it's important to remember that the access that you personally have, especially as a designer, we need our larger machines to have that power and that capacity to do some heavy lifting for us. Most people don't need that. And keep that in mind when you're doing your design work. And keep in mind that most people only have a mobile phone, or they only have a tablet, or they only access at the library or somewhere where there's free access to computers if they don't have any of those things. But most people can afford a pay-as-you-go mobile phone and then just use Wi-Fi in whatever cafe they're in. And so the cost is pretty low for that, and that means that they have internet access. And that's part of the beauty of internet. And up until recently, net neutrality, is that it's sort of an equalizer, right? Anybody can access it fairly easily. Expect to see that change, and not for the better, with the end of net neutrality, unfortunately. Sorry to go off on that tangent, but it's important, especially as people who work on internet products. It's important to think about the fact that your product or your site might not be shown unless people are paying above a certain tier. And so you might not have access to the audience you've had access to in the past, just because now the big players are able to charge more for different services and things, and charge you and your clients. So coming back to the original question, in terms of why more people are going mobile, it's because of the access. It's because mobile phones are easier to acquire, and they don't necessarily have an internet cost because you can just use Wi-Fi on the go. And they're a necessity anyway to be reachable for things like jobs, school applications, spending time with friends. Phones are something that we need to communicate in the way that the society is structured. Even checking your bank account or keeping track of that, a lot of companies want you to have mobile phones or direct deposit. And so having that access is really important. Whereas having a desktop machine, having a physical computer at a house somewhere with an internet connection is less important for the majority of people. So that's my video for today. If you have a question you'd like me to answer, you can leave it here in the comments, or you can email me at hello@pixelsforhumans.com, and I would love to answer it for you. Talk to you tomorrow. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm in Scotland, so I'm here at my hotel room, and I'm speaking tomorrow at UX Scotland. If you are registered, I believe it's also live streaming, so you can watch my talk, or you can let me know if you're in the area, and I'd love to say hi. Thanks so much, everyone. See you tomorrow.